Hey friends, welcome back to yet some more Reddit stories about entitled people, crazy people, and everything in between. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't yet for more Reddit content, and we're getting right into today's stories. Angry man demands I bend over backwards to accommodate his hatred of technology. I work retail, and this guy bought something online and had it delivered. After receiving it, he decided he didn't want it anymore, so he asked to return it for a refund. I said, sure, no problem. Just send it back with the returns form found on our website and ship it back to us. He then got super pissed that he had to print off a form. Like most people my age, I don't have a f***ing printer. So I said, okay, fine, don't print out the form. Just include a handwritten note and ship it back to us. And how am I supposed to do that? By taking it to the post office? And what, you're expecting me to pay for shipping? Well, it's your choice to send it back, so... Back in my day, stores provided a little something called customer service. I expect to receive that from you as well. Annoyed at the entitlement, but also just exhausted of the bullcrap, I agreed to provide a return label. I asked him to move the conversation to email though, since I can't provide him a return label over the phone. So he sent his email, rehashed all his nonsense from the phone call, and I replied with this. I can provide you with the return label, but you need to be able to print it off so you can attach it to the item. That was 2 months ago and he never replied to that email. Today, he called back. Hi, it's Bob. Remember me? Sorry, Bob, but I speak to many people every day. You'll need to refresh my memory. And with that, he was fuming again. It was like me not remembering him was the worst sort of insult. He rehashed everything again, and then it all came flooding back. My immediate thought was, didn't this happen months ago? And I was right, it did. I checked the email chain and I sent my email on June 16th. He again complained about having to ship it back himself and having to have access to a printer. But I just said because I was annoyed. That's the way the world works now, I can't change that. So he said, I'm sick of this. I've had enough of this for today. I'll call back later. Then he hung up. I was hoping that would be the last of him for another 2 months, but no, he replied to my email from 2 months ago within an hour. He again started complaining about how we have made this difficult for him, and that we should make accommodations for people that don't have a printer. I replied saying, we can provide you with the PDF of the label, and if you don't have a printer, then you could ask a friend or a relative or even the post office to print it for you. Here is the kicker, the absolute cherry on top of his entitlement. This is your problem to fix, not mine. Your store has set up a system that requires the use of a printer, without any consideration for people that are too old to use modern technology. I will not go out of my way to fix a problem that you created. You need to tell the courier to print the label themselves and have them deliver the label to my house. Wow, I haven't even replied yet, but there are so many things I would like to say. Firstly, this is our system. Welcome to the 21st century. We didn't invent the need for a printer. Couriers are the ones that generate the PDFs, not us, but that is the easiest way to do it. Your refusal to understand does not make you right. Secondly, this is definitely a you problem. I understand not owning your own printer, because I don't own one either, but you could easily take the PDF to a friend or a family member that does have one. Even if you don't have friends, shocking, or a family, you could take the item to the post office and ask them to print the label and stick it on the parcel. But no, you have such a vendetta against technology that you refuse to partake in it. It's almost as if you think finding a printer somehow enables this behavior, and your refusal to use a printer is an act of defiance meant to break us from our reliance on technology, so we can go back to a simpler time. Well, buddy, I've had enough. Either pay to ship it back yourself or forget about your refund. You don't want to enable our reliance on technology? Fine, but I don't want to enable your entitlement. So if this is our stalemate, so be it. We don't lose anything. You're the one that wants to return it, all because you changed your mind. So the next move is yours. This dude is just making things way more complicated than it needs to be. He's obviously one of those people that just wants to make everyone as miserable as he is. And honestly, to solve this problem, he wouldn't even need to touch a printer. Just go to the post office and have them do it. It's really that simple. Yes, your card has to have money on it. I work the front desk at a hotel and a woman came to check in, talking at a mile a minute the only way ADHD children and junkies can. She was not a child, so I'll let you guess what category she fell into. She asked me if the neighborhood was safe, which it is, and it's always a funny question from people who look like they know exactly how much, insert preferred drug here, they can get for a bundle of copper wire. She told me she had a reservation through Rice Wine, and asked how much the deposit was and when she would get it back. I told her it was $100, and had to be on a credit card or a major bank debit card. She told me she was paying with a Cash App card, and in a polite customer service way I told her no she wasn't, because that's not a credit or a major bank debit card. She told me it was all she had, and I told her it says on Rice Wine that we require a credit card. She told me again that all she had was a Cash App card, and I just sort of stared at her because I felt like I'd been pretty clear that I wasn't going to take that card, and didn't feel like repeating myself again. Finally, she says she also has a Chime card. Unfortunately for us, that's the one non-bank card we do accept. Once we had all that established, I asked for her ID and her card. She handed me her ID and tried to hand me the Cash App card that I thought we'd successfully established I wasn't going to take. I reminded her that we don't take Cash App, and she told me that was the card she paid with. I explained that the room was not paid for, just reserved, and she told me she wanted to pay with that card. Again, I told her we don't take Cash App. She was going to have to use another card. She said she just got her Chime card today and asked if the card had to have money on it. Again, I found myself just sort of staring at her for a moment, trying to formulate a polite response that was less blunt than just yes. This question always breaks my brain, and the fact that it's a somewhat regular occurrence doesn't help. I've asked some pretty dumb questions in my day, but I'm not sure any of them top. Hi, will you please accept my worthless piece of plastic with numbers that are currently of no use to you on it, in lieu of payment/an incidental fee? Is it a lack of understanding of how money works, or banks, or the world in general? When they ask if they can pay the deposit at checkout, then I really know they're dumb. Like, damn, you made it to adulthood without understanding what a deposit is for and how it works? They're really not complicated. Why would you think me, a complete stranger who does not know you or anything about you, and also doesn't want to, so don't try that route, is going to allow you to be unsupervised in a room in a building I am currently responsible for, without $100 of your dollars as collateral, in the hopes that us having that collateral will prevent you from being excessively stupid in that unsupervised room? Anyway, I'm ranting, because she also asked if she could just pay the whole thing at checkout. I told her no, we take payment at check-in. She chattered away at me while transferring money between her cards, and I didn't really pay attention, just made conversation noises and she didn't seem to notice. Her efforts were successful and her card went through. After she was gone, my nosy ass looked her up on the local mugshot website, because when someone is excessively weird, I like to have an idea of what I'm dealing with. I'm sure it will come as no surprise to you that she was arrested at another hotel a few months ago for felony possession of Schedule II drugs. Guy assaults me on my way to the boxing gym. This happened 20 years ago or so. This man was middle-aged at the time. I had guessed late 40s. I was mid-20s. I was leaving my apartment complex in my car on my way to work out at my local gym. I worked out at a boxing gym. This becomes relevant. I was in a tank top and gym shorts. I'm tattooed, was obviously in shape. I'm very polite and nice, generally. But I also had been bullied when I was young, and I sort of have zero tolerance for bullies because of this. So I'm in my car about to leave my apartment parking lot. There was an intersection with no stop sign. As I approach, an old truck is pulling in. I stop at the intersection. I'm not anywhere near that truck, not in the intersection. It was a totally normal stop. This guy from his truck starts yelling all sorts of nasty things at me as he passes, driving slowly. I have zero idea why. I yelled, "What's your problem? I stopped to let you by." He keeps yelling, I can't get a word in, and I realize this dude is just a bully. So I took the low road and spit out my window toward the car, and I take off and exit the parking lot. He peels out his tires, turns around, and starts chasing me. The nearest intersection was not a major one, but has enough traffic. Dude drives into oncoming traffic, pulls his e-brake, spins his truck sideways in front of mine, and I have no choice but to stop. He gets out, unarmed, thankfully, and I get out. I just say, "You don't want to do this, old man." But he did. Guy starts throwing punches at me left and right. I was literally standing there just shaking his punches away and saying, "You better stop before you get hurt." After several failed haymakers, the guy seems to realize this is a mistake and drops his hands. I dropped my guard too, and started to ask him what his problem was when, bam, he sucker punches me. What is my gut reaction to this? It's fight or flight, right? And where have I been working out? A boxing gym. So flight wasn't the response that kicked in. As soon as his punch landed, I instantly counterpunched. Dude hit the ground and I got on him to finish the job, but he was actually dazed and incoherent from that punch, so I just stood up. That's when folks got out of their cars. A man helped the guy on the ground get his head clear and helped him up after about a minute. The guy that assaulted me said, "Did you see him hit me?" The witness said, "Yeah, after you hit him. Why did you attack him? That was stupid." Dude had to get a couple people to help him to his truck, and actually fell a couple times on his way there as he was pretty shook up. I know I'm not in the right on this, and I escalated the situation once he started cursing at me for literally letting him through an intersection. But I can't stand bullies, and honestly bullies shouldn't be able to go their whole lives assuming the world will de-escalate their asshole behavior. She wanted the house. My ex cheated on me and emptied our joint bank accounts before serving me with the divorce papers. So I signed the house over to her, made sure that the turnover was stated in the divorce decree as a settlement in lieu of alimony, and sent a copy of the divorce decree signed by the judge to the mortgage lender, along with the signed and notarized quitclaim on the house, which absolved me of any further responsibility for maintaining the mortgage payments on a house that I no longer owned and in which I no longer lived. All perfectly legal. Less than a year later, she suddenly realizes that she was solely responsible for maintaining the mortgage payments when the lender foreclosed on the house. Well, that's a bit of an awkward moment when you don't even do your due diligence to understand what you're obtaining after a divorce. It seems that she just thought she was getting a free house, but apparently didn't even understand that she was actually taking over a mortgage, and therefore didn't even bother to make payments. Oops, I guess. And that's it for today, guys. Thank you for watching, I appreciate it. Be sure to like if you enjoyed and hit that subscribe button for more Reddit stories. So take care, I'll see you next time.